In the lower positions on the violin, the left-hand fingers take on slightly different shapes depending on the note being played. These shapes can generally be described as either square or extended. To play in tune, the hand and fingers must remain free and flexible, with the fingers adjusting shape depending on the note and the context. A square finger shape simply means that the angle between the nail joint and the middle joint is more closed. Not necessarily a perfect right angle, and sometimes even closer to 45 degrees. The point is that it is more square compared to when it's extended. An extended shape is where the finger appears slightly straighter from the nail joint to the middle joint, though it should still be curved. Which shape you use will depend on the position and on the surrounding notes, as well as the size and shape of your hand. There are many instances where you might choose to use a different shape from what you normally use. For example, in expressive playing you might choose to play more on the pad of the finger to create a warmer vibrato. This could flatten or elongate what would normally be a square finger into a more extended position. The goal is not to obey a rigid rule, but to understand the shapes and adapt them to your needs. As a general guide in first position, the finger shapes are as follows, and I'll use the A string as an example. First finger B flat is square, B natural is extended. Second finger C natural is square, C sharp is extended. Third finger D is square, D sharp is extended. Fourth finger is never really square, E flat is less extended, and E natural and E sharp are a little more extended. Using the wrong shape for a given note can create tension, disrupt the natural position of the hand, and throw off your intonation. When playing in a given position, for example first position, the hand should remain in position and the fingers should change shape to reach the notes, not the other way around. If the fingers stay rigid and the hand moves to accommodate them, your accuracy will suffer. A frequent issue for beginners is failing to change shape quickly enough. The result is that the hand drifts out of position, causing a chain reaction of out of tune notes. For instance, when moving from D to D sharp on the A string with third finger, the hand should not shift up. Instead, the finger should simply change shape from square to extended. Another common intonation problem is when we play a natural on one string and a sharp on another string using the same finger. The finger must change shape sufficiently in order to play in tune. To develop a natural awareness of these shapes, start with simple scales and exercises. For example, an A major 1-octave scale would be a good place to begin. First we have open A, then we have B natural extended, C sharp which is extended, D which is square, then we have open E, F sharp extended, G sharp extended, and A square. Then we descend using these same shapes. And to see clearly how each finger can change shape, it's very useful to play chromatic scales. Slide gently from one shape to another. Do not lift your fingers to change shape. Notice how each finger moves from square to more extended when sliding up a semitone or half step. There are two important variables that you can adjust to make it easier for your fingers to naturally fall into the correct shapes. The point of contact of your index finger on the neck of the violin and the angle of your left elbow. For those with shorter fingers, the contact point of the index finger may be a little closer to the base, with the elbow a little more to the right. And for those with longer fingers, it can be closer to the middle joint, with the elbow more to the left. The fingers should not be angled too steeply or too flat, though this angle will vary depending on the musical context. Experiment with these adjustments until you find what feels both natural and secure. By developing awareness of these finger shapes and allowing them to change freely depending on the context, you will build more reliable intonation, a freer left hand, and a more efficient overall technique.